The World Herald did us a great big favor. Everybody in the state should go write them a thank you note for putting us #1 in the state. That don't mean nothing. That is one man's opinion. It don't mean a damn thing. The only one that matters is the last one. So if you want to read that stuff and think something, you're going to end up like all the rest of us that are done playing in here, without a title.
I'm in the dirt, say it again, man, and that's a reverse. Never rehearse, jumping in first. Call up the nurse, put the beat in the hearse. This is absurd, take the berserk, don't get on the tracks, man.
I'm just gonna start with the first thing over here on the keys. Because I've had people talking to me, obviously this week, about different things, and the thing I told the paper is the thing I've been most happy with as a group is that we've been hungry. Like we really, I mean, we're not perfect, right? We lost a couple games, but we have not had a game where we showed up and we're not hungry and played with like a passion and a joy for the game, okay? So that's the biggest thing I just want to start with, is I'm going to tell you, prove it. Prove it, because that was my compliment to you as I talked to people this week, is that we've been hungry.
I personally didn't know we were ranked #1 until I heard it from other players, and it didn't really bother me that we were #1, but I knew the other team would definitely be like, they're #1. We got to show them who we are.
I would say in the middle of the Lex game, I honestly arrogantly thought, it's close. Let's just keep grinding. We're going to pull this out at the end. I think we're the better team. We just got to keep playing hard. I knew we have a lot of players. We just got to make some plays at the end. I thought the game would keep going. We had a couple runs. We felt like we had control of the game.
Okay, guys, what's the story of the game so far?
They got offensive
Rebounds, we're down 1. Okay, again, you're over when you get out rebounded, so you're down 1 in rebounds. Okay, bigger than that, something is glaring.
Got your back on defense.
We're freaking jogging back. So when I say be hungry and prove it, you act like you're pretty good. Make or miss, we're just jogging back. And literally, Dylan Richmond is catching the ball and snapping his head, taking a dribble and throwing it, because they know you're too lazy to get back. They know you're too cool to get back.
That's what Bennington said too.
Yeah, Bennington said it. That's a scout, we're too cool to get back. Like literally turning your hips and running as hard as you can for 3 or 4 steps and then turning. You're jogging. Everybody that played is jogging in transition. Make or miss, we're jogging back. Has Reg been pretty good? Has Blue been pretty good? Has Man been pretty good? Yeah, everything's been good. They're getting the ball down the floor for you to get set up. That's the problem. And on offense, this wasn't glaring, okay? There's 2 or 3 times where I thought we've had a flow for 9 games where the ball moves and this and that, and there's times we had a little bit of, I don't know, it just didn't seem fluid. It just seemed a little sticky at times, where we weren't moving it. We were kind of thinking what I wanted to do as opposed to just making the play that was available. And Coach said, well, it's hard. They're pretty good. I go, we played York and Aurora, Bennington. They aren't better than those guys.
Yeah, generally. So when you get rated #1 in the state, most teams have a little bit of sometimes a maturity problem with that, and I think we did as well. And we felt like in that game we had a couple guys, at least 2 or 3 moments where guys were trying to maybe be the guy, which is okay if you're in a good situation, but we felt like we forced a couple of shots. And it wasn't just one guy, it was 2 or 3 of them. And so that was kind of a big, I don't know if you call it, that was a big like wake up call that, hey, we're good, but just because somebody says they're respecting you as the best team in the state doesn't mean that anybody needs to change what got us there. So I think we had a little bit of it's probably only happened 3 or 4 times this year where guys want to kind of put their team on their shoulder, when maybe the best attribute of this team is that we pretty much play one-on-one, and if anybody comes for a double, you give it. And that goes from our best player all the way down to our 5th best player.
Is that door closed? First time all year, we don't deserve to win. We deserve to win against York. We deserve to win against Aurora. You do not deserve to win the game tonight. For the first time all year, we were selfish at big times. We missed plays that we always make. At the end of the game, he's wide open. There's 1.9, a tie game. You weren't even close to him. I hope this stings. I hope this stings. Because we don't, you played exactly like I was scared you might play. We're pretty good. Our effort defensively was subpar for 75% of the game. You had a stretch in the fourth quarter where you played hard. It's been a while since I've been that disappointed. Because, what was the layup total, Coach? Huh? 14 missed layups. 14 missed layups. 14 missed layups and multiple chances from multiple guys. I'm not trying to be cute. Multiple guys where we could make the right play and we didn't. For the first time all year. For the first time all year, I saw multiple guys not make the right play. I don't know why. I've told you. What is it that everybody says about us that's so good? We share it, man. We move it. We don't care. We cared tonight. We cared a little bit tonight. We cared about whose name is in the box score tonight. So case in point, boys. They're 500. Okay? They're good. I told you they're good. But they're 500. So if we're going to be a little bit sticky with the ball, we're not going to quite play as hard as we want. We're not going to quite close out. We're not going to quite rebound. You're not good enough to beat people. They're good. You're not. I don't know what to say. You're not. So I hope this stings. That's a big one. That's a big loss. And it's on us. Coaches all the way down. I thought we had you ready. We didn't, apparently. That's what I'll tell everybody. I did a poor job. I am ready.
This is it. We've been talking about it the entire year. If you're in this room, outside of your guys' families, we're the only ones that believe that we're going to get it done in March. Okay? This stays in here. This is trust. Okay? But when I get on you all week that we're flat, and you look at me like I'm stupid, I don't want to hear it ever again. Because after we lose to York, what was your comment? Every practice is going to be like it's York. And this week it wasn't.
Nope.
And I don't care what the excuse was. I don't care that it was break or you stayed up late or what. I don't care. Let everybody else have that excuse. If we are going to be the guys that get it done, we can't have it. Our attention to detail tonight, and this is us 4 guys, us 5 guys, it's us. Our detail tonight was shit. You did not listen to him. You did not listen to us as a staff. Hagan, I tell you to post up on PT, you don't do it. We play 4-game, so we go to you in the post, you won't post up. Thomas, we said take the last shot. It's details, guys. And nobody else out here gets it, because they've never been in this spot. They've never had a chance. Nobody else knows how important that stuff is. You know what everybody's going to say out there? You got fouled. You have to make a commitment as a group. And John, you're as important as everybody. When we're not good, what did I tell you at practice? I don't care if it ends in a fight. That's what I told John. Somewhere we're going to make the choice, and Coach Foster talks about it all the time. We will not get it done until you guys decide it's going to happen. We can't do it for you. Until you decide that little inch matters, that we get on the floor in the first half, that we're going to listen to every last detail of what we're telling you, we will not beat the best teams in the state. The World Herald did us a great big favor. Everybody in the state should go write them a thank you note for putting us number 1 in the state. That don't mean nothing. That is one man's opinion. It don't mean a damn thing. The only one that matters is the last one. So if you want to read that stuff and think something, you're going to end up like all the rest of us that are done playing in here without a title. I'll be done. I believe we have the right group. I believe that we have guys that care enough to fix it. But if you don't, we'll be running track in March. Do not think that you're too good, that you don't have to buy into that.
It definitely hurts listening to a buzzer beater. No one likes it, and having it happen the second time just really hurt. But it's not just that one play that beat us. There's plays down the stretch that we need to be better with, and we learn from that.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I think there was a slight overreaction from coaches towards like some of the maybe the errors or the mistakes that we made in the game, and that's kind of knee jerk. I mean, if we win that game, we probably don't address those the same way. So that's where it actually was a positive that we lost the game, because if we win that game, we probably don't address some of the like 1-on-3 drives by a couple of our players that weren't good, that might have cost us. And so I try to look at it like big picture thing. That's why playing a really, really tough schedule like we had this year has been better for us, is we've been able to correct smaller errors that if we're sitting at, 22-0 right now, or 21-0, then coaches are wondering why players are wondering why coaches are getting on them. So after that Lex game, the loss actually benefited us. And the way we lost, where they hit a 30-footer and we didn't match up, and because it was a simple mistake where a player was guarding the rim for the lob with that amount of time, and then all of a sudden they threw it out. So those are like really good learning moments and teachable moments for our guys. So actually the Lex game and the post game was really good for our team, even though for players in that short run it felt like we were blaming specific players. I specifically blame Tyler because he's my son, and so that makes it easier for me. So if I take the bad cop card with him and I call him out, and basically I made fun of him for like 3 days for like turning the ball over in that situation. And that's kind of been my mode with him, is if I make fun of him enough, then he'll get over it. And if I kind of like don't address it like it's the elephant in the room, then it almost seems like it gets bigger. So that was kind of our approach after that game.
I mean, when Foster punched the marker board, all the coaches were pretty heated. We needed that talk. I mean, it was definitely a turning point in our season where we need to take everything really seriously. We can't come into a game a little laxed. We need to be focused on the win and focus on the small details, not just winning the game. So we knew the next couple of weeks we played St. Paul, Northwest, and Dauphin Trumbull. I mean, they're teams that they're always going to play hard. They're pretty close to Hastings, so they'll always try to beat us. We're kind of rivals, and we knew we'd have to come in with the right mentality to win. They're games that we had to take seriously after Lexington. I mean, we really had to focus on winning those games.
Right, so that stretch, the St. Paul, Northwest, and Donovan stretch, went from like bad, okay, to really good against Donovan. And that was kind of a metamorphosis of us transitioning into playing, I think, a little bit at a higher level and being smarter. St. Paul game, they played a zone, and specifically, we're coming off of Lex, and Hagen's getting banged around. Their whole game plan was just to try to beat him up as bad as they could, and their big guy was fouling him a lot, and some they called and some they didn't. And so really couldn't get him going because they were kind of half doubling in the zone on him. And then some of our shooters, specifically like Thomas, Cam, Tyler, didn't really hit shots. Shug kind of put the team on his shoulder that first half and hit 2 or 3 threes, but he wasn't getting the ball enough in that game. So that was when we're like at halftime, I basically just said, y'all shut it down and give it to Shug because they're shutting Hagen down and you guys aren't hitting shots. And in that zone, we could do that. And I think Shug had a great second half in that game to kind of close them out.
I think the team felt pretty good. We're always excited to play Northwest. That's always somewhat of a rival game, and we like just beating them. And doing that this year really helped our confidence.
And then the next game, Northwest, was another game. This one was this is another kind of a highlight game because we got a big lead and then we took some bad shots. Like specifically, like just because we're up 20, we just like started casting a little bit. No, I'm sorry, that was in the second time. So the first time against Northwest, they kind of bully balled us a little bit and played really well, and we kind of just hung on. I just don't think we played very well. I don't really have a lot of specific memories because I don't think that there was anything that stood out to me.
For the GI Northwest game, I think we felt pretty comfortable. We knew how they were going to play. We knew they were going to try to grind us out. We knew that they couldn't play very well against our 1-3-1, and we knew that we just had to come out and hit shots and play good defense, good offense, just play good basketball. And we knew that they're going to play really physical, but we already had proved, even when they had us, they were up at half, I believe, and the other game, we proved we could come back and beat them. We weren't scared of them at all. we were all frustrated that Lex game, and that I felt more confident that we were going to perform better because we were going to take those teams lightly because we had just lost a big game. We couldn't lose another game against a team that's not like York or Seward, like not top. And we had to show up and play really well. And I felt confident at that point in my game. I thought my shot was going really well at that time. I knew we were playing teams that are not as athletic as us. Northwest is about as athletic as us, but St. Paul and Doniphan, I knew we were a little more skilled, a little more athletic. We just had to come out and play really hard and match their energy. Because that's the only way they were going to beat us, is through a lot of energy, a lot of hard work and work ethic. Because we've got the skill already that we've put time in.
Against Doniphan, I felt like we moved it, and then that was kind of the team. When we're playing at our best, where the ball is just going, and we have 230 passes in the game, and we're putting up 25 threes, but it's from 4 different guys. And so that was kind of a metamorphosis of like how we should play was the Doniphan game.
The GICC game, I was extremely excited. I wanted to go at them because I knew, first off, they started off, I feel like the JV game really is a really good prelude to what the varsity game is going to be like. And they beat us in JV. And I was frustrated too because a lot of those JV guys are my friends. A lot of them are in my class. And I thought they could have gotten that win. And that was one of their second loss of the season. And I knew that we had to play with a chip on our shoulder against GICC. I was not going to take a loss against them again after last year. It was really exciting just in the game. I liked the fact that we were at home. There's just a little bit of comfortability about playing at home. Just a little more. You feel like you have a better chance just playing at home against a really good team like GICC. I knew they didn't really respect us as much as I think we have earned. Like they were going to come in, they think they're better than us like they do every year, which they're usually pretty good. So I mean, they have the right to think they're pretty good. But I really wanted to take it to them, and it was a really fun game.
This is a big game. Okay, but the longer I do this, the more I realize that the big games are like every other game. In the sense that, what do they always come down to? The same things, right? The same things that dictated the Wood River game are going to dictate today for the most part. Like what? You said something. What did you say? Effort plays, intangible things, rebounding. Okay? When I think about, especially in the big games, in the last 10 years we've really been successful, we were successful because we were true to ourselves. So if you think about GICC today, are they concerned with you? Yeah. Are we concerned with them? Yeah, that's what happens when you have 2 really good teams playing. Okay? So yeah, they have some things that they do that concern me. Well, guess what? We have a lot of things that we do that concern them too. Okay? So then it really comes down to, like I said, who can be true to themselves? Who can really, really just be who they are? Play to their strengths, do what they do at a higher level. That's what it comes down to. So when you look at a lot of this is the recipe pretty much every game for us to be us and to be successful. Okay? So when you start with rebounding, obviously, again, when that ball goes up, we got to win it. We're battling pretty good. We got a lot of stuff around the basket that we just got to be able to finish. You know what I'm saying? We just got to be able to finish when we get there. And it's hard. That's part of why they're good, is because you can work so hard to get there that you get there and you almost relax. You know what I'm saying? You got to focus and finish.
I'm saying go into them and make them force the officials. When you're playing passive and they're on you and you dribble them back out, that does us no good. If they're going to pressure our guards, right, then you got to make them pay for that.
Just do what you did right there. What, the first 2 or 3 minutes? I don't care if you win by 1, try to win by 1, win by 1. Just keep grinding. Keep grinding, focusing around the rim. You got me? Yep. Let's go. Let's go, boys. ACO3, 1, 2, 3. AC.
one. That's a big one, kid. Go.
Okay, big time win. Big time win. Every win feels good. Beating those guys feels a little better. Okay. And the thing again, kind of like the York game too. It's so encouraging. We didn't play great.
No.
We missed like how many layups?
Lex, it felt like.
I mean, it felt like Lex. It felt like Lex. Like we were just a little tight. And like I told you at halftime, I'll take every one of those plays we got. That first time out, you're like, God dang, stupid shots. But no, I'll take every one of them. You were great. Like we just didn't make them. And they weren't layups early, but like just right. We just missed a lot of layups. Part of that is even though we always talk about those guys, I respect what they do immensely. Because they are all in, they're very good defensively. You won't play anybody else really as good as them defensively, as committed defensively. So they make it hard when you get to that spot, like we talked about. It's so hard to get a good shot that when you get it, you almost like panic sometimes. You don't realize how open you are. As the game went on,
It's like relief, right? And
Right.
you kind of give up on
as
it.
the game went on, we just got better at just playing when we got to that point. Okay? But again, 7-2 early. We call timeout. Like we had 2 points like 5 minutes into the game. And you were up, was it ever get to 10? Was it 8, 9?
It was 9 or 10 at
9,
one point.
10. So, I mean, after that beginning, you kind of won the rest of the game by about
Yep.
14 or 15, which is kind of where I thought we'd be if we played decent. Okay? So many good things, though. That's a big one. It's always a big one.
Playing Northwest again, we knew we would have to take care of business. I mean, we can't overlook them. I mean, we have to take one game at a time, but we knew they were an opponent we should beat, and we just played really well and took care of business.
I mean, I think the first time we played Northwest, the last couple of years they've physically manhandled us, and so in that first game they did that as well. And then the second time I think we kind of just said, okay, we've played these guys, we've played Bennington, we've played other big physical teams, this shouldn't bother us, and we really did handle them. It ended up being, it might have been 14, but we were up 20 at one point. But actually, back to what I'd said on the first one, which I misspoke, we started to take some like me shots in that second half because we were rolling on them. So guys, it was like, you know, they call them stat stuffers. It was almost like we're trying to stat stuff. And then that kind of rolled into the York game a little bit where we took, I thought, some questionable shots against those guys.
Going into the York game, I was pretty excited to start playing. I knew it's really good to play against a team that you really respect and you know is a really good team. York is the kind of school that really propels you, even in a loss, when we lose, propels you to know that you're good enough to go play in state tournament, for example. And it's just fun challenging yourself against the best of the best, even when you lose, just because you really learn more about yourself and you better yourself as a team.
Going to the York game during conference, I think we all wanted revenge at that point. Losing to a buzzer beater stung, especially when we led most of the first game. But we were all pretty hyped to play them.
I was a little worried, I'd say, but I knew there's no reason to dwell on our missed shots. If we were going to dwell on our missed shots in the first half, well, it was over by halftime then. We had to just come out, take the same shots. We didn't really take any bad ones that I could think of in the beginning. Like, we took a couple, but it wasn't a lot. We just didn't hit many. We had to just come out, take the same exact shots, and trust that our shooters will knock them down in the second half. And they were so good, though, that lead in the first half we gave them, we just couldn't really bring it all the way back.
During the game, things didn't go our way. We shot probably the worst game of the year. They played great defense. They're a great team. And we only lost by about 8. We played our hearts out, but we couldn't come out on top. But we still came out with confidence as opposed to just being defeated after that loss. We played really poorly, and we still kept it close. I think York's a pretty good team, and they're really good about respecting their opponent all the time. But I think after the first game especially, we gained lots of respect, and after the second game, I think we gained even more just because we kept those games close, and they were both really tough games.
I think we did. I think coming into that first game, they showed up. I think York is very businesslike, but I still think they came out to our place, showed up. They're like, yeah, we got to play a decent C1 team. They're pretty good, but we're better. And we scared them with how close we played them. I think the respect was really shown in that second game where they played really well, I thought. And we still showed that we could play with them. But at that point, their mindset was really strong where they weren't going to give us anything easy, and they already had known that we were a good team. They showed us a lot more respect that second game, I especially thought. I think now for the next coming years, when they see us walking in the building, they're not going to think, oh, this is an easy one. They're going to think, this is going to be a tough one. Going into the Seward game, I personally was slightly frustrated because I didn't really shoot well in the York game. And I wasn't feeling my shot. Like, I still shot okay, but I wasn't feeling as confident as I did, for example, back when we played Bennington, the Holiday Tournament, on my three-point shot at least. And I knew they were really good, so I knew we had to really come out and play. When we were out there, I just felt we were a little drained from that first game with York. I mean, it's tough to bounce back-to-back games between two really good B teams. And they were really athletic. They were really good. And thankfully, Nolan played great, because without Nolan playing so well in that game, we would have hung in it, but it wouldn't have been as close as it was. And it was just kind of a weird game. Like, for two high-scoring teams, it ended up being, like 47-43, like real low-scoring game. Like, it's kind of a lethargic game, in my opinion.
So losing to Seward, once again, just like the York loss, it wasn't fun. It was a heck of a game. We were up most of the game again, and I mean, it came down to the last couple minutes of the game, and we've felt that again before with the first time we played York and also the Lexington game where we had to close it out and we couldn't quite do it. I mean, it was a great learning experience where we need to learn how to close out games and have more maturity. But, I mean, we came out of the weekend with confidence. I mean, we can hang with those good Class B schools. We knew we could hang in C1. So it felt good.
Yeah, I mean, we felt really good about even being grouped up with those guys. And we understood that, and this isn't anything against C1, but probably from a physical and athletic standpoint, the other three teams would be better than anybody we play in C1 the rest of the year. And I think that's true. The thing that sticks out with me with the Seward game is that the growth we made as a team, you could see specifically, because I think if we played Seward in that first game, they probably beat us by 10. And in that situation, playing against Seward, I know specifically Tyler was supposed to guard a 6'7" guard who was getting some looks. I don't know if he's a big-time Division I player. He's probably more mid-level to lower Division I, but he does have some looks. And I remember thinking specifically in my mind, at the beginning of the year, we'd never think that Tyler could guard this kid. And Tyler pretty much locked the guy down and frustrated him and got in his head. And then that was really good for him specifically to know that he could guard those kinds of players. And as a team, I thought we were in a position to win. It was a tie game with under 2 minutes left. We had a good look in the corner. Didn't go in. Then we had a couple good looks at the end of the game, some kickouts that we didn't hit. Otherwise, we walk out of there 2-1 in a really tough conference tournament stretch. And that led to some animosity amongst our guards and even a little bit, with our post play. And so then we had to kind of recoup and rethink about, okay, who are we? Meaning, who are we? Who are the shots going to come from? And it kind of solidified that we need to worry about is first looking at getting Hagan, Shug, and Thomas some shots, and then moving through our other guys based on how things are going. Tyler, Cam, Gavin, and then maybe Webb pitches in a 3 here or there. So it actually was a good conversation. It was uncomfortable, but it ended up being something that worked out. So yeah, we go into Northwest, and then we play York and Seward, who are both really good and really athletic. And so they've really tested us. And the nice thing about playing those guys is we've proven, by playing York the second time, playing them close, we proved it wasn't a fluke that we almost beat them the first time. We showed that we belong in the Central 10 with the top of the Central 10. And then outside of the probably top 2 teams in B, we can play with anybody in the state from Class B down. I've been